in this room. Great room that has lots of energy, great networking before and after, so stick around because that's when I start telling jokes after 2 glasses of wine. All right. So for those of you who don't know what Shaking with a Twist is, it's been going on for years and years and years. It's one of my babies, one of the things that I love to do. Thankfully, they have renewed my contract. I haven't screwed up too badly, I guess. But with that being said, I love it because of the format and the people in the room and the stories that I get to share and hear prior to, and I get so excited because I do want to share them because I know that it's just going to inspire you when you leave this room to again, take whatever you take from it. But with that being said, it is one of my favorites, and thank you, WESC, Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan, that have taken this event on and have elevated it to where it is in the last few years since you've taken it on. So thank you, WESC, for supporting this event and many events that you do throughout the year that help and support women entrepreneurs. With that being said, I do want to, so Shaking with a Twist, what is it? It's a small, informal get-together where we share the story or journey of an inspirational woman that is here in Saskatoon or within Saskatchewan, and from there you can learn the lessons they've learned, but really it's not about a business pitch. It's really about learning the individual and them sharing your story, and hopefully from there you're able to grab, like I said, some tidbits from it, and hopefully it takes you to a new level as well, and you're able to learn from that. So what do I have from the WESC team here over in the corner? I have Josie, who is always handing me my notes and keeping me organized, or trying to keep me organized and on track. I have Bonifer, who is handing out the nice complimentary wine tickets to everybody. Carly, who is now their new co-op student, so welcome to the team. And of course, the lady, where is she? Prabha Mitchell. Oh, there she is. I was like, I don't know, you're invisible. Where is she? I know she's here. Awesome. Well, welcome Prabha Mitchell, the CEO as well of WESC here. As I mentioned, I do have a little bit of housekeeping here in regards to some sponsors and whatnot, but I do want to thank very much our wine sponsor, which is the NSBA, which is the boys in the back, the boys in the... Where are they? There they are. We got Keith, all right, and Rigo, all right. Thank you very much for the wine. And the wine for the evening is sponsored by Authentic Wine Spirits and Merchants, Patty Olson and Cindy Susky, with Andrew Peller, and the white wine is a Sauvignon Blanc from Burton Vineyards, and also the red is Cabernet Sauvignon from Burton Vineyards. I like the bottle of I didn't see the white one, but I like the bottle of the red. It's pretty sexy. I like that. So thank you, wine. And of course, food. You have to have food with wine. So with that, Uyghur's Financial. Dad Uyghur. So Uyghur Financial and benefits. I have to keep the benefits in there. And there she is, lady in the glasses. Thank you very much, Deb, for coming on board and being sponsored with food. And beside Deb, where did she go? Did she go to the washroom? Maura? Oh, jeez, I thought you were back there. You're right in front of me and I'm blind. I gotta get glasses. Okay, better ones anyways. So, Vertus Group, a great supporting sponsor. So thank you very much for coming on board again. Miller Thompson, do I have a JC or Jordan or anyone with a J? No? But anyways, thank you so much for Miller Thompson for coming on board. And BBC is Warren Jackson, one of our token males. Is he here? I didn't see him. No? Anyone from BBC? That's okay. We'll take your money anyway. Of course, getting back to the food, it's catered by Calories. Always delightful selection that they give us. Getting back to WESC, as I mentioned, Shaking with a Twist, we've got some great events that are coming up as well. Other than this one is on January 24th, and that's WESC Meets. And so that's at 10 a.m., and it's actually the 4th Friday of every month. So put that in your calendar, 4th Friday of every month. And this is where you have some coffee, and you get to meet other entrepreneurs and other business professionals and the community, and you just it's free to attend, so that's awesome. And you just RSVP online, and you just kind of do some networking and sharing amongst each other. So every 4th Friday, WESC Meets. Also, I've talked about this, and we got to put this together, Prabha, is the 25th Anniversary Awards Gala and Conference, which is in Regina this year, and it's on May 20th and 21st. And basically, the tickets are on sale right now, so go, because it probably have some savings for early birds, and then if you snooze, you lose, you pay a little bit more. But with that being said, I really want to come up for this. I think this is a road trip thing. So if there's a few ladies that want to go, I'll rent a van.
We'll get a bus.
We'll get a bus. We'll get a limo bus. All right, we got to get some connections. We need a limo bus, and let's bring the Peller Estates lady with us as well. We'll have a good time. All right. We have West has financing, interested in a loan. West has money to give you, loans up to $150,000. Learn how West can help you grow your business, start your business. So go to west.ca for that one. And then, yes, the next Shaken with a Twist is February 13th. So it's just before Valentine's Day. And we have Joanne Hardy, president of WBM Technologies. She's got a great story to share. So yes, put that in your calendar. And of course, last but not least, is our venue, Village Guitar and Amp. We have the boys that are taking care of Village Guitar and Amp because the owners are off where it's nice and sunny. But they're always doing a great job, so thank you to the guys in the back. Very great venue that we get to have this event in. Okay, so I think I've done my housekeeping, and now we get on to the main event. Very excited. I was saying to Pam that we've probably seen each other in circles in Regina, but not necessarily had an intro. We did meet at the Shaken that Prava was here with Rachel, and so reading about you and researching about you, I was just blown away about again amazing lady. So I'm so excited to learn more about you, and I'm just so excited to share your story and journey with our audience as well. So I'll tell you a little bit of a bio here. Pam is the president of the Phoenix Group, a leading advertising, communication, and web development firm. She received her BA from the University of Regina, her MEd from the University of Manitoba, and a professional director designation from Johnson's Toyama Graduate School of Public Policy, so she's a smarty pants. She worked internationally and across Canada for private, public, and not-for-profit companies. She leads her team by example. Her team loves her. I heard that all her associates love her as a boss. They had to say that. No. She leads her team by example, striving for excellence, creating a rewarding work environment, and giving back to the community. She has 30 plus years experience in business management, leadership, and strategic development. So this is the part that's also crazy. She has time to also, Pam has served with many organizations, including, she's now the current chancellor of the University of Regina. Wow. And has been a member of the Board of Governors, founding board member of the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation, the Paul J. Hill School of Business, Camp Circle of Friends. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, the Amicon Foundation, the Mackenzie Art Gallery, Sask Film, Hospitals of Regina Foundation, North Central Family Center, and Heritage Regina. She founded The Power of Pink, an event to benefit breast health, and has donated her communication expertise to many community events. And she has been inducted to the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame and the recipient of the Canada 150 Medal for Philanthropic, I can't say this, philanthropic contributions. Wow. Pretty impressive. So with that being said, let's give a warm shaking with a twist.
Well, Shauna, thank you for that introduction. I really want to say a huge thanks to Prava. And when I heard you interviewing the conversation with Rachel and Prava, I said, oh, I hope they ask me sometime. So I just wanted to spend time with you and really appreciative of the contribution that you make and do it. And I love West, so it was great to be able to come and chat.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll pay you later. Well, I will repay you. She bought me this glass of wine.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about balance. That's my new word for 2020, right? So, yeah, impressive bio. That's probably not even half of it. And so with that being said, 30 plus years we mentioned in leadership and management and strategic development, and the president of the Phoenix Group. Clearly, as I was reading this, a role model, not only for young women, but even for myself as I'm an older woman, looking at it going, wow, like this is impressive to know that, you know, you've gone in other areas and not stuck to your pathway when I look at some of the things that you got your fingers involved in. So Weska's working hard right now to close the gender entrepreneurial gap. And Pam, you've been obviously a great advocate for closing that gender gap. And share with us what you've done and what individuals should be doing, provided if they are given the opportunity to advocate an environment that's successful for females professionally and personally, to kind of close that gap.
Oh, sure. Well, it's super important. And I think West is exemplary about what needs to be done. And when I think of my career, kind of those elements that kind of moved me along and helped me take new challenges and pursue different initiatives, and as I look at what young women come to me and ask, it is for sure that idea of celebrating success. Let's not be shy. Let's not be, Saskatchewan, we're humble. You know, we're the underdog that fights, and we don't boldly celebrate. But when it's entrepreneurship, and it's in particular young women that are trying to make it, we need to bring that element of buoying them and celebrating success and supporting them along that way. One of the things, it took me quite a while in my career to figure out the value of mentorship and networking, and that it's okay to ask for help. And I see that more and more with organizations, whether it's West, whether it's Race or Community Powerhouse. There's a multiplicity of groups that are coming out that really see that we have to have each other's back, and we need men to understand and men to support us. So it's that celebrate, support, and mentor.
Mm-hmm. I've been hearing that a lot. You know, it's about lifting up, and it's about women in itself, that we do have a lot of obstacles and barriers that are out there, so we shouldn't be one of them with each other. So I totally agree with that. So, current chancellor of the University of Regina. I had to look up what's the definition. What do you do? That's a pretty impressive and interesting gig you got going there. So how did you, what have you learned? So you've had it for 6 months, I believe, if I looked at it correctly, right? Okay, so you were appointed it 6 months ago. So what have you learned about yourself in this position and learned about the education community?
It is still a surreal experience. And I was actually elected through Senate, just as a brief kind of hierarchy of how it works at the university. The Senate is the body that oversees and approves academic programming, and the Senate elects the chancellor. And the chancellor, you confer the students, you chair Senate, you chair several committees within Senate, and also a voting member on the Board of Governors of the university. And the whole experience, I thought, yeah, this is really impressive, and I was nominated and humbled, and it was great. It wasn't until the preparation started. And I swear to God, the Queen was not treated better than me. I had a photographer, I had a gown and mortarboard made in Toronto, and there were fittings, and I sat on this throne on front of the stage to confer the students, and the pomp and ceremony and historic relevance just blindsided me the day of the installation, and I was just blown away. Recognition from across the country, and I thought, wow, how did I ever end up on this stage? And I was ill prepared for the magnitude of that impact and responsibility. And granted, much of it is ceremonial, as you confer several thousand students every year, but it is that periphery of responsibility that you hold in representing a very complex institution of academia, research, and community. So it was awesome. I had the luxury of 6 years being on the Board of Governors, and I was vice chair before I was nominated to be chancellor. But really, it is still one of those truly blessed opportunities.
So you're on for 3 years? Is it a 3-year term?
It's a 3-year term with the opportunity of 3 more.
Oh, wow. So you have a personal photographer for almost 6 years.
And the funny thing is, I asked him to on my photos. I said, could you please do a little airbrush? He airbrushed some pretty funny photos for me.
So, 9th chancellor,
Mm-hmm.
second female.
I'm the third one.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the name, so there must have been a name that
there
was.
was.
Okay. And so, like you said, it's like there's a lot of responsibility. So, what's your agenda? What do you want to accomplish and address in this time period that you're sitting in this position?
there really are some impressive people. And I think of the chancellor of the U of S, and I looked at chancellors before, and I shouldn't have done this before the installation, because I Googled chancellors across Canada, and that was another one. What am I doing here? And the chancellor who preceded me, Dr. Jim Tompkins, he had 50 years at the University of Regina. Like, talk about one who serves, which is the motto of the university, just exemplary contributions. So I thought hard about what that would look like. And as part of the election process, you go in front of Senate and you have you present what this means to you and what you're going to do. And from the role of Board of Governors and from my working community and starting to understand the depth of what a university contributes outside of pure education and graduating students, I realized that I think the role of chancellor, certainly my position and what I'm going to contribute, is at that intersection of the institution, the university, the students, and community. So I've come to understand what most people don't know happens in university, the incredible world-changing research, and I'm going to help bring the community to the university and the university into the community, and that will be in the form of whether it's sessions, community groups we bring, showcasing research, but also hopefully stimulating some important fundraising to continue on the great work that they do. So it's that intersection of community and university.
Yeah, so just an awareness piece for sure, right?
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to what you're saying. We don't brag a lot, we don't celebrate a lot of what we do and how good we are and what's going on within our own educational system, of things that are happening in our backyard. So, right. So, you've served on many boards. I mentioned just a few of them. Founded many foundations and events. One near and dear, we talked about Power of Pink, breast cancer awareness. You were a breast cancer survivor yourself. And recipient of the Canada 150 Medal for, here we go again, philanthropic contributions. I'm Ukrainian, so I have this little bit of a Ukrainian, let's put that. What fuels your fire, your passion to be involved? Like what in our community, like what makes, because you are on a lot and you're a very busy lady and you own your own business and leading in many different ways, so you have to be kind of choosy. So what kind of is your criteria on how you serve and how does it serve you?
Well, the various committees that I've served on or boards I've been involved with, that's over a stretch of time. I've been around for a while, and so I've had an opportunity to find over time, I guess how I choose is what matters to me, what is the impact of a particular organization, and who are the people involved. I maintain that you are how you give and who you give with. It's the people you surround yourself with, so that's a big motivator for me. And I grew up with it as a young child. I don't have a hard luck story in my upbringing. I've been very fortunate. And with that, my parents always maintained that you have to work harder when you come from opportunity and fortune, because you have perhaps maybe not the money to give, but you have the energy and the time and the comfort and energy to be able to share that around. So it really was from a very, very young age. And I find, I'm often asked, how do you find balance? And there isn't balance unless it's 2 glasses of wine, but it is, it's fulfillment. And I know in my life that I am only fulfilled when that community, charitable, kind of alternative element of my life is there, along with career, and along with family. And it hasn't been full on chancellor kind of roles, but there's an ebb and flow of when you can take, when you have to give, and when you have to say no, just not right now. So it's just I don't feel good if I don't.
Yeah. The Power Pink event, is it still going on? Because I noticed that you are stepping. Are you stepping not down from it, or
we're changing it.
We're changing it. Okay. Yeah. So over time, right? You
yeah,
gotta be relevant. You gotta.
Yeah, it is truly one of the things in my life I'm most proud of. Truly a passion project. For those that don't know, it's been a Regina-based event. So as a cancer survivor, I went through, or thriver, I've gone through several years of treatments and learned a lot about the healthcare system, about what you need for support and what that looks like to heal. So I felt it really came from such intense gratitude that I had to do something in some way. And I've used the example where we go and we get our, we tip our esthetician, we tip our server, we tip, but how do you give back to the people who save your life? And so I thought we really wanted to raise funds so that we could, I was going to drop it in the hands of the doctors, but talk to them and find out, what do you need that would help in a certain way? So we wanted to create a one-stop center for care. So that happened at the Pascal Hospital through the Breast Assessment Center, and it created a ripple of other initiatives where we recognized that there was no internet when I went through treatment, but we needed a spot of support, and we needed a place where you would have, there was no rehabilitation when I went through. So we found grassroots organizations that over the 10 plus years that we held the biannual event, that we raised over $750,000 that stayed in Regina. So it was really impactful. So as we evolve it, we got a little bit of event fatigue from the organizers. It certainly wasn't me, it was a community and a group of friends. So we found that we would change it up. So we now have been taking some reserve funds that we have, and we look at other ways that we can raise funds to support other initiatives. We recently funded an NFB premiere of the film Unmothered, about a woman who lost her mother when she was 13 to metastatic breast cancer. So we held a screening in Regina and funded that. So it's, the awareness piece will continue. It's just, we're just looking at what are different ways that we can keep that power of pink and the awareness alive. Mm-hmm. So it's just an evolution of something.
Great. So I did, like I said, I did some homework. I was telling you earlier that, again, with Regina, I mean, I know that I'm really kind of, woven in the Saskatoon community and know who to go to if I need to find any dirt on anyone. Regina, being a past chair of the Saskatchewan Chamber, I have a few connections there as well. So I did some research and I couldn't find any dirt. It was all lovely stuff. One of my sources
They're gone and I won't tell you.
You paid them off well. One of my sources told me that they would describe you as the most interested person in the room and the most interesting. And I thought, I had to think, that is a quality that truly not many have. And I had to think about that. I thought that was really a great compliment. And so, to be a leader today, what do you think makes a successful leader or entrepreneur in today's business environment?
Well, please thank whoever said that. That's really very, very kind. And certainly, I am very interested in what people have to say. It's my business. We are all about communication. It's interesting. People often ask, how did you end up in advertising? I have an educational psychology background, working with special needs individuals. Never thought I'd be in advertising, but it is the perfect combination for advertising, communications, and leadership, because you understand how people learn, how they acquire knowledge, and how they think, and what motivates them. And I think as a leader, understanding the motivation behind the people you surround yourself with and those you're trying to help, what matters to them is really important. And as part of that, when I think of my leadership style, I think it's values-based. So whatever you do, whether it's in, with your family, with your business, or with your community, if you're true to your values, that's exemplary. And it's kind of that guiding light for you. And I think if you show that compassion, which is that intense interest, that's being compassionate about the people around you. And as an entrepreneur, you take that step into entrepreneurship or business ownership, whatever it looks like, with such determination, optimism, and you just don't lose that. Keep that dogged determination, and if you can share by example with other people, that that's how you stay interested, and if something comes of it that's interesting, bonus.
And my last question before I open it up to the floor, so be ready for your questions, is, again, we talk about your 30 years, like the wealth of experience you have in leadership, management, strategy, governance, volunteerism. I'm not going to go to the fill word, but what pieces of advice would you have told Pam 30 years ago?
I think what was I doing? What was I doing when I was 30? I just turned 60. I would tell her to breathe. I remember when I was young, I had that, you just have to do it all, and I would say to a younger me and to many women that I mentor now, is that you can have it all and you can work for it all, but it doesn't have to be all right now. Maybe not right now, but it's that, as I said before, it's that ebb and flow. I would just say, breathe, and let's be less judgmental of yourself, because people aren't as hard on you as you are on yourself. And it's still something that I work on. It's just my nature, but that breathe, take your time, and be easy on yourself. And there's also another piece that I feel is part of my fortuitous life that I've had, is that it's a life of, for me, unanticipated opportunities. Sometimes when we get going, and even if it's in entrepreneurship, and I see it in my daughter at 22, she's very driven and focused, is that just be aware of the periphery of what can come your way, because it is an unanticipated opportunity that led me in so many interesting places to ultimately be on the stage as chancellor. Yeah, so like the short of all that would be lighten up.
Well, that's what this is for. But no, it kind of goes back to what you talked about in regards to celebrating ourselves and to not be so hard, and to support each other, and then of course not be so hard on ourselves. That will help with just that whole path and that journey. So thank you very much for the questions and the answering, but I have another round of fun things that will lighten you up right away here, because I've got some questions for you. But with that being said, there's still a serious component to this. So is there any questions out in the audience that anyone would like to ask Pam at the time? Okay, behind Deb, sorry.
During those 30 years of your career, which person, event, or a book that you remember that influenced you or your career the most?
Well, I have an answer for each one of those, if I can do that.
Yes, please.
So the event would certainly be a cancer diagnosis. It changed me substantially, and it was a point when I was starting off my career, and I didn't want cancer to define me. So I had very young children, so I had to navigate what that looked like. So that would be an event. A book would be, I'm a huge Brené Brown fan, and a good friend of mine, Kelly Garrett, gave me the first Daring Greatly book. I'm hooked, and it's changed how I approach running my business, parenting, and even still my adult children. So that idea of vulnerability and
So it doesn't stop
courage.
at the house? You don't parent them?
It doesn't stop because they come back. And you mentioned the other thing. It was the book. It was the book, the event, and person. I would say my father. Certainly throughout my life, and in particular through my career, I call him a serial entrepreneur. Extremely successful, set values in my life that I hold true to my being today, and exemplary. Yeah, actually born in Saskatoon. And so I would just say, as a human being, he's truly remarkable, and I'm fortunate that he's still in my life and is still a go-to person that lives with integrity, honesty, and compassion.
Good question. Adele.
Thanks for your presentation. That was awesome. Very
Thank you.
interesting. From a business perspective, your number one lesson learned?
Well, it goes back to the same thing. Be a valued person and know what your values are, because it helps you make hard decisions. It helps you make the right decisions, and it helps you be your best. And with that, mine is honesty. Even in communications, in campaigns, in PR, in life and business, you be honest. You just have to speak the truth.
That was one of the things that I did dig up. Again, trying to find dirt. But your clients love you. Your staff loves you. So everyone who's talking, oh yes, I've done business with her. So yes, so when you talk about honesty, obviously it resonates, because I couldn't get anything dirty on you, so it was all good. It's all good. It's awesome.
You don't have to find it.
We'll talk later. Any more questions out there? Deb Rieger from Rieger's Financial and Benefits.
Yes, benefits. Pam, because I'm not sure entirely what the role of chancellor would entail, but the fact that you're working with young adults that are at the prime of their opportunities in life, the one thing I see in my business, and I think many people would see, is that unfortunately, that with mental well-being, it's at the peak, right? And so a lot of young adults struggle a lot with just the maybe overwhelmed, the anxiety, and it's just like busting through that moment. And we like to say, as old people say, suck it up, but it's just not the way it's going to be anymore, right? So I guess my question to you is, as your opportunity in the place that you're at, what could you do, or what are you doing that would help empower these young adults to, as you say, like think and believe more in yourself and empower them? But what can we do more to get them through these stages that we never really have had to deal with like years back? But today we seem to be dealing with it a lot more, because I know, and I'm sure a lot of people know, that with young kids at home, it's the part that really stresses me to know that they're going through those stressful times.
That's a very good question, and it's certainly a critical element of our life today. And I see it from university, both as being on the Board of Governors, and from that perspective, the work that's done in post-secondary institutions, and now even in the school system, to support through accommodation, diversity, and inclusion, and to have the conversation and have the resources there and let people know where they are. I see it with my daughter is 22, so her network and in her own pursuits and struggles that she has, the support that she needs. I see that there is or that her friends need her, that they want. They're so much more aware than I ever was about what you need to do for self-care and wellness. So I think in an ongoing, we need to reinforce what's available, destigmatize, and be there with the support and show them where to find it. As an employer, with my own staff, we have implemented quite a few things over the last few years around well-being, respect in the workplace, interpersonal communications training and development, and an environment that is inclusive and supportive of wellness and time that you need, and having the conversation when they want to be open about it, about what their mental health looks like. And I had a really interesting experience in December. Every year, I regularly do one-on-ones with my direct reports. My managers do it with their team, and once a year I have one-on-ones with all of my employees. And I was just touched, one, by the openness of people talking about the challenge that they have in their life, maybe in the workplace, but in general what it is, and as well the numbers that are speaking about it that I'd never encountered in the one-on-ones. And I thought it really important because it's helped influence what we need to do in the workplace to support and not turn our back to the reality of what you may not see every day. Say, come on, work hard, go, 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 but what can we do to ensure optimum performance, culture, and contribution? So it's not going to change, and we can do more, and just listening is a big part of it.
Is there any more questions out there? Okay. All right. Now we get to lighten it up. This is what some of you may remember this, and some of you are new, so you might not even know this, but I used to do the 7 Revelations and some fun, quirky things, so I'm going to bring it back in to lighten it up tonight. So these are the 7 Revelations of Pam. So these are just sort of questions I'm just going to rattle at you, what comes, I don't know, out of your brain. And so I hear you're adventurous. Yeah. I hear you're adventurous. This is, again, some of the things that people are telling me. So do you have any favorite adventures you'd like to tell us, or adventures you'd like to go on?
Well, I love travel. 3 weeks ago, I was lost in a Mexican jungle because we were supposed to drive, and I said, no, let's walk. So that was one. And then at 50, I learned to surf in Tofino and wild surf, and I love surfing. I'm horrible, I can barely stand up, but it has become a source of destination.
You're such a kind, gentle person, but you must have a pet peeve. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Can I say 2?
Oh, she's got 2, of course. All right.
So one of them is my family tease me about this all the time, and they reinforce it just to drive me around the bend. But I consider it as unnecessary punctuated language. So phrases such as "just saying," when it's it's just something that I don't think needs to be said, as I've understood what you said. And the other one is, yeah, right? Like you're acknowledging then answering the question again. So those are a couple things. And then
Friend
there's,
who does that. You know who we're talking about, probably.
and I know people do, and I'm saying it's one of your favorites, and that's just because it doesn't, just I don't care for it. Actually, it drives me nuts. And the other thing is around driving. Has anyone seen the show, the series Atypical? And there's the young woman, and I'm just forgetting her name, and she's very OCD and really judges herself and tries to be quite precise. And then she's just so particular, and she gets in a car and she loses her mind. Like, everybody's just aggressive, and I'm not as bad as her. But I'll tell you, when I'm at the light and there's a turning signal and people don't go, I just can't stand. There's many routes I take in Regina, and I've timed it so I know how long the arrow is, and I know that how many vehicles will get through the arrow. And if you don't go, I know how many cars can get through, and I'm usually that last car that can't get through. So that's please go on the advanced arrow when it turns.
Yeah. Or anticipate it. I get what you're saying, that you know if this is your route, you know there's an arrow, so anticipate it's coming, and you can actually look on the side lights to know it's coming. So get ready for it, not like, okay, there's the arrow, I guess I should go. I know what you're saying. It's like, go!
I've actually said, I can't believe we only got 3 cars through that arrow.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, good. All right, any hidden talents? Besides surfing now.
I'm a Reiki master teacher.
Oh, okay, tell me what that is. Is this the hand?
It's an energy.
Powerful.
So there's chakras in your body, and everybody has belief in it or faith or value, but I've seen it firsthand, and I had a Reiki master, and I just thought, oh wow, I want to learn this and the philosophy around it, and the idea that you balance the energy in your body by someone who's attuned, the healing, and anything else that gives you an hour of complete calm and meditation, but it is the movement and healing of energy from one to another.
Okay, so if you were sitting at your one-on-ones with your employees, is there a way you're mysteriously sort of doing it? And no?
That's where I call him Brené Brown. I pull my tools from various places.
So do you still practice it?
I do with friends and family.
Yeah.
It's purely an interest and side study.
Cool. So you've learned lots of things. Now, okay, so we just finished reading. So I know you said that, but is there a book that you just finished, or a book you recommend you maybe read?
Well, I read mostly nonfiction. I'm going to blow the horn of Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. I've given it to all my leadership team, and we're going to be workshopping it together with the help of my friend Kelly Garrett. Really great. And for fiction, I indulged over the holidays, and I read the second book of Kim Van Alkemide, which is Orphan 8, and she wrote Bachelor Girl, New York City, which is my favorite city, one of my favorite cities in the 1920s of wealth, indulgent, gender exploration, and baseball. Good ones.
Okay, so here's your business. This might cost us. This would have cost us what, $100 or $50 consultation fee. But best advertising, PR, communication tip you can give us. Besides, go to Phoenix Group if you need anything. There's a plug.
We'd love more business in Saskatoon. I mentioned it earlier. It's be honest. Whether you're trying to sell seats, sell product, motivate people to change behavior, whatever that is, dealing with crisis in your business, speak the truth, tell the real story.
Okay, bucket list. So I know, okay, can't put surfing on it because you did that. Must do soon. What's on your bucket list?
Well, it's not super soon, but it's one of those, when you think of those things in your life that you keep wanting to do, but you don't do it. You might start, you might finish, you might try again. And it's not in the like woohoo fun, but it's in what fuels me is to actually finish my PhD. I've started it twice. I'm 3/4 through the coursework for a candidate. It's lifelong learning, and it's going to torment me.
So can't you just, as a chancellor, like just pop into those classes and give yourself a diploma?
I
I think.
Nobody has to know.
No, like you
Nobody
just.
has to know.
That's one of the things I remember when I convocated was I remember my chancellor. I forget her last name. Her name was Peggy. It was in 1995.
Peggy Kircher.
Yes, Kircher. So she just sat there, and I was like, "Oh my God, this poor lady has to sit there the whole time." And I remember when she said something to me. It sounded so personal, but it probably was the same thing she said to the 300 other graduates. And to this day, every time I see her, because she was just such a I don't know. She just. I said to her, "You know what? I remember what you said to me." But so yes, it's very important when you're sitting there to have that message
Well, I
too.
think that's a good lesson for me to have.
But
I
yeah.
can watch what I say.
You can give yourself a diploma as well at the same
Yeah,
time.
right?
You deserve it. Give yourself a- yeah. And burning bucket list. This is a new question. I read about this one. So it's a burning bucket list item. The one thing that doesn't serve you that you want to get off your list and get rid of.
Somebody else want to go first?
Like mine was like wasted energy, bad karma people. Like, we're so busy. We have so much things that we have in our life, and you talk about how busy we are and the minutes that get wasted if you have that. If it's even if it's a bad habit that you're doing or a person that's around you that just brings you down, like that's my burning list thing, is to think of those things and get rid of them in 2020.
Okay, mine's get rid of judgment. Whether I'm judging that person in front of me at the light or whatever that is, it
You're
could
just so
be.
kind. That's so good. I know. I gotta get better at that.
It's better for everybody.
It is. You're so sweet. I love you. You're my new best friend in Regina. All right. So when we do our girls trip, we're gonna go hang out. We're gonna have fun in Regina. So with that being said, everybody, please, everybody, give a warm welcome. Thank you for coming. We came all the way from Regina in this miserable weather. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate the wine. I finished one. We're on number 2, so this is where it gets fun and interesting. So I would like Noreen to give a wave. Noreen Mahoney, please give a wave to everybody. Because I forgot to mention our presenting sponsor, our big sponsor. This would not happen if it wasn't for the Edwards School of Business. University of Saskatchewan. Right here, thank you very much for being a generous sponsor and being here and being a supporter of Sugar with a Twist. Okay. Whew. Got the main one out of the way. I couldn't screw that one up. Prizes, right? All right. We got